we'll get started. How's your day been? It's a good day to be alive and well. How are you today? Small teacher join. Thank you for joining.
Hi.
Hello, Idara. Can you hear me now?
Oh, yes, I can.
Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah.
Wow. Thank God. Thank God.
It's been a struggle, right?
It's been a struggle,
Oh,
but
yeah.
thank God. Like, when I saw that you could join easily, I was just so excited. Like, thank God. Yes, thank you for joining, everyone. So let's get right into it. I don't want to waste so much of your time. I will try to make today very, very brief, sharp, and straight to the point. All right, so our guest today is Idara Umosen, and I'll just read our bio quickly so that we can get along with the questions. So Idara is a graduate of the University of Nottingham, United Kingdom, and an award-winning educator with 14 years experience in the education space. So there's a lot to learn from someone like she is currently the Vice Principal Academic Junior School at Bloomsbury School, Port Harcourt. In her current role, she has spearheaded successful projects aimed at innovation, problem solving, improving student school experience, managing adolescents effectively, and fostering communication for impact amongst all stakeholders. As a tech-savvy educator, she served in a strategic team of educators across Africa for 3 years in partnership with the Association of International Schools in Africa, ASA, towards the implementation of blended learning in African schools. She has created policies for blended learning and emergency preparedness for schools. She was part of a team that created policies for hybrid learning and general school operations during the pandemic, while giving teachers practical support and training on how to engage in online learning at the emergence of the 2020 pandemic in Nigeria. Some of our notable works include pioneering a support system for teachers through our online platform, Confident Teachers, God's Time Academy School Renovation Project, a key role in the implementation of online learning in Corona schools at the wake of COVID-19, and old school remodeling project at Bloomsbury schools, just to mention a few. Idara is a passionate teacher trainer who uses our online platforms to enlighten teachers about how much they can be within and outside the classroom. She is an ambassador for Twinkle Nigeria and of SAFE, SAFE, securing a friendly and protective environment for children, by the Taiwo Akilani Academy. She is involved in various community service initiatives in our community. Let's roll it up, roll it up, roll it up, roll it up for Idara.
Thank you.
Thank you. What a vast bio. You're welcome. You're welcome. It's a privilege to have you in our midst today. And we just want to get some juices out of you from your wealth of experience, and share your journey with us would also help us learn some things from what you've been through and all that. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Can you tell us quickly, how did your journey into education start? What inspired you to get into teaching?
What inspired me actually happened in 300 level. I wasn't studying education, I was studying mass communication, but there was this day I was I don't know where I was going to, but I was in a bus and my gaze was on a child. There was just this child with his mom beside me in the bus, and I just kept looking at the child, and I'm like, okay, so see how, young, little, vulnerable this child looks now. Who knows, what would this child turn out to be in the next 3 years, 4 years, 5 years? I was just looking, and I started thinking about a lot of things, and I was like, in my mind that, the way you train a child, the kind of education a child gets, everything put into a child will really determine, what that child, what would make child A different from child B. And it was at that point I realized that I think I wanted to be engaged in activities that had to do with children. I didn't know exactly how at that time. I had this big dream of working with children, but at the end of the day, it led me when I finished university. It was a no-brainer when I saw an advert on Corona School teaching job, and I applied, and that's just how the journey began. That's it.
Wow, I never looked back at your mass communication degree.
I didn't look back. Yeah.
Well, have you implemented that in your teaching in any way?
Oh, sure. I started off with students I started off my first assignment. I started off with children at the age of 4 to 6. And yes, with a lot of passion and zeal, I wanted to do everything that was in my head. But soon I realized, that children look very cute and nice when you see them from afar. If you want to touch children, but when you begin to deal with them one-on-one, you realize how difficult and not so easy it is to deal with children. You find out that some children have very, very amazing personalities, some have not so amazing personalities, and it's a big deal. So you really have to understand why you're in it to be able to stay in it. Otherwise you would, you easily give up. So was I able to implement some of those things? Yes, to a large extent. With the drive, I've been able to, but it's an ongoing process, and there's still a lot that hasn't been implemented yet, but it's still an ongoing process.
All right. So thank you. So what made you decide that, okay, I know you talked about what inspired you to join the teaching profession, and then when you got in there, you got caught up in it. Was there any point where you felt, oh no, the stress here is too much, like let me just leave and face my mass com and do what I have? Or was it that the passion now kept you in it?
Okay, interestingly, I developed a passion, and that has sustained me till today. Like, I didn't even think of mass comm anymore, so it's always been education, for the last 15 years or so. I'm not going back, yeah.
Thank you. And can you share a memorable or rewarding teaching experience that you've had?
Okay, a rewarding experience. I think generally, I can't pinpoint one exactly now, but generally, it's usually, okay, it has to be a particular set. Let me narrow it down. I'm trying to narrow down my experience. There was this set where maybe sometime in 2014 or so, it was a primary 4 class. That was a class that I saw some of my dreams, some of the things in my head. When you have, you think about something in your head and you see it manifesting. There was a certain class that happened, where it wasn't just about the academics, it was about the relationship with students, it was about how to foster an atmosphere where students know how to relate. There were so many things I wanted to teach, and it played out in that class. And interestingly, I remember, I don't, David. Interestingly, David was the math teacher in that class with me at that period of time. So I think it was a combo thing as well, where we were able to, there was something that brought the children alive. I'm sure till today they won't forget me. Until today, I can never forget that set, because we fostered an environment where they excelled academically. That was the class where I had one of my best results that went beyond the school. That was the class where the children were taught how to behave in a certain way. You know, the children were taught to be lifelong learners. The children, I had the best relationship with students. I had the best relationship with parents. And till today, parents from that particular class are the parents who I still have the best connection with till today, because of the outcome in their children's lives. You know, that was a class where I had a lot of parents write me notes and said, oh, my child said this, my child said that. You're the reason why my child now wants to be a lifelong learner. And I was really, really startled, because some of these children don't show it in class. You don't really know that you're affecting them. You just think that you're just talking to them, and you know, they're just not acting it. But when you hear report feedback from their parents, you realize that, oh, some of these things that you want to achieve with the children are actually being achieved without even them telling you, you know. But it was from their parents I got to find out some of these things. So yeah, the experience was class 4 yellow in 2014, 2015. You know, the class brought out the best in me.
Wow. Thank you very much. So you mentioned David. I know when David came on the show, we asked him about his collaboration with you.
Okay.
The Instagram page. I think that was when I first knew about both of you.
Okay.
Sorry, excuse me. The teachers, David and Idara.
Oh yeah.
Instagram, yes. How you guys work together.
Okay.
Sorry, excuse me.
It's okay.
So we got to get a lot of gist about how you guys work together and all that. So now, moving on quickly, what challenges have you faced in the teaching?
Okay, so I think in the teaching profession, my toughest challenges have been not with the students, more with parents. Yes, I know parents have their, you know, dreams, what they want the children to become, how they want the children to learn and all that. So you're working with the students in the class, and children are at different levels, but sometimes the parents want you to perform a magic immediately. And so sometimes the kind of pressure, you know, gotten from the parents can be really, really uncomfortable. You try to deal with parents and it is really, really challenging. So the parents have been my biggest challenge in the teaching profession, not necessarily the students.
Okay. So do you think that the challenge can be minimized? Like how can we deal with the aspect of parents?
Okay, over the years, I've come to realize that to make your work easier with parents, communication plays a very, very big role. Many times, you know, you don't want to wait for the parents to come call you and say, oh, my daughter this, my child this. You want to put the parent in the loop. You want to make the parent know a lot of things ahead. You're carrying the parents along. So it's now becomes a form of partnership. The parents already know you're dealing with this with their child. You're all going, okay, so the conversations now will now be more of, okay, so where are we on this now? What do I need to do? So it's always, secondly, it's very important for a teacher to be observant. You don't want, so that's communication is one, but for you to even be able to communicate, you should have observed certain things. You can't be a teacher who just comes to the class and you come teach and go. You really, really have to ensure that every child, you know every child. once you're able to know every child, it's easy to know their needs. But when you just leave everything like that, and then a parent comes at you, you don't even know because you're not paying attention. So those are some of the things that could cause, friction with parents. So observe and communicate.
Thank you very much. You mentioned this, and I remember my experience in my earliest days. Sometimes children will come to school and then there's a scratch or something that happened at home, and they brought it to school. So if you're not observant, right, first step to notice that, then second step to communicate it first to the parent that, oh, this child came to school and I noticed this and noticed that. If you don't communicate it back to the parents will come back and say this thing happened in school. And at that point, you don't have any say. So this thing you said is very, 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 very important. Like more than 100% important. You have to be observant of the child, physically, emotionally, and all that. Oh, this child came in today, was not up and doing. Maybe the child used to be a very lively child, and today the child came in and the child was all sulky, all to himself and all that. When you observe that, then you communicate to the parent by asking, did anything happen at home? Is there any reason why this child came in like this? That way, the parents will not come back fighting or disturbing that, oh, okay, my child came back. My child has not been free since he got back to school. Meanwhile, they think whatever happened to the child must have happened at home or on their way to school and all that. So this thing you said is very, very important. I needed to reiterate it. Thank you very much.
Okay.
So now, how have you maintained a positive and engaging classroom all through your years, and you never got tired?
No, don't get me wrong. There are certain times I felt a bit down. I didn't want to go on. It was a whole 15. It's been a whole 15 years. Sorry, the power just went out. So let me just open this. All right. Can you see me?
Yes, a bit.
Okay. All right. So let me just reposition. Sorry, so that it's better. Okay. Is it fine? Can we go on, or I should wait for power?
No, we can go on.
Okay. All right. So, what was I saying? I was talking about, okay, yes, it's been 15 years ish. And so, yeah, there are times I've felt down and like, hey, I have to, I don't know what to do. I'm down. I'd never felt like quitting, but I just, felt down. But what I always used to, stay motivated, is the reason why I started anyway. And another thing that kept me through was the results. So every beginning of session, I'm thinking of something creative. How can I make my class look better? What experiences do I want to bring? The outcome is always amazing. So that kept me going. When I remember what a child said when something happened. I remember when I went shopping. I spent a lot of my money one year. I wanted to have a fantastic class library. There was a setup I wanted, and so I went shopping. And I remember some comments I heard from children, where they loved going to the class library and all. So things like that kept me going. I knew that it was not in vain. The efforts were seen, and it helped the children in whatever way. So those were the things that motivated me at those times when sometimes you just feel tired. So yeah.
All right. Yeah, thank you. So now, are there any specific teaching strategies that worked for you that you would like to share with us?
Okay. Teaching strategies that have worked for me. Well, I don't teach now. I've not been teaching in the last 3 years, about 3 years, but you know, some of the strategies that right now I push for, because I've also evolved. So even though I'm not still teaching, you know, but going around to classrooms, seeing results and all that, some of the things I have pushed for are peer-to-peer learning. So we are in the 21st century, like everyone keeps saying, and in a child-centered classroom, it's not what the adult is doing that matters. It's what the children are doing that matters. So if I walk into a classroom and I see the teacher talking, saying beautiful things, demonstrating, everybody is happy from the beginning to the end of the class, that's not the kind of class that I want, because that's a class that is teacher-centered. But if I go into a class and I see that the teacher is trying to introduce her first objective, and the teacher has introduced some form of maybe group work, some form of interaction, okay, the light is back, some form of interaction, you know, some form of activity in the classroom. And so the children are researching, the children are exploring, the children are finding out and giving the teacher feedback. So the teacher's role is just to facilitate learning. So teaching methodology, and yes, with the introducing apps and the internet and all that, yes, you know, but the teacher's role in making sure that a class is student-centered has a lot to do with sitting and planning and making children to do the work, so that at the end of the day, they never forget the learning process, because they were the ones who were actively involved in it. Okay, yeah, so that's it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when learners are actively involved, it sticks. The learning sticks more than when you're just telling them. All right. So, what advice do you have for up and coming aspiring teachers?
Okay. First, the up and coming teachers have to know that it's not an easy job. It's a job that requires seriousness. So, you know, what's your motive? When I was coming into the job, when I told people I wanted to be a teacher, like, oh, okay, it's good. You have time for other things. They lie. If you want to be, so if you want to be a 21st century teacher, not some kind of teacher who just goes, you don't know your student, just go in, teach, you don't know if they learn and come. No, not that kind of teacher. But if you want to go into teaching and be the kind of teacher who would create impact, the kind of teacher who, you know, you will teach and you know that you feel fulfilled because you know you are impacting, it's not going to be a walk in the park. So you have to know, so are you ready to put in the work or not? So you have to know what your motives are, because at the end of 1 second, please open the door. So you have to know what your motives are, and then that whatever it is will help you to, you know, will push you. That's what will keep driving you. So when you feel tired, you know why you're there. But if you just come in because you have friends going, or you heard that this school pays, or after a while you would either give up or you would not really make the kind of impact that you're supposed to make. So my advice is you have to know your motive. You have to.
All right, thank you very much. Is that the only advice? You'll not tell us about the money part.
Okay, so your name is teacher, the millionaire teacher. So I believe you're a millionaire teacher. I don't know why you have that name, but let me start like this. I've recently been in groups with conversations around the teaching profession, where someone said, oh, noble profession, and another person was really angry and said, people keep saying our profession is a noble profession because it's a profession where you're supposed to be poor. There were so many conversations around it. But someone said something and said that, hey, a lot of teachers, there are many teachers, and there are certain teachers who are really rich. So it really depends. So the teaching job in itself, right? The teaching job in itself, where you go to a school to teach, I do not think they match up with some other industries. So you have some schools where the pay is peanuts, another school where the pay is good, very, very okay to see you through. But if you want to go to the next level where you want to make a lot of money as a teacher, I learned something from a colleague many years ago. His name is Mr. Oseni. He was the one who made me know that the education business is a very, very big business, but not necessarily teaching. Teaching is an arm of education, right? So you can still be in the education business and make a lot of money. So you have to sit down and say, what am I interested in and what can I do? People who supply books, the education business, is it storybooks or textbooks? People who author textbooks, it's education business. There are people who consult. So you invite them to your school to carry out certain research and you pay them millions. It's still the teaching business, right? So, but the thing about teaching is that you need to be able to build capacity. You cannot just venture into certain things as a young teacher. So you have to put in the work. So I am a teacher. I have this goal of being so and so and so, but I have to put in the work. I have to have something in my head so that when it is time for me to show that I am an authority on something, I open my mouth and I'm able to say things that make people say, wow, or oh, you get what I'm saying. So there are so many aspects. When I started Teacher Idara. That was sometime in 2017 or 16. I can't remember exactly because there was a time before I came to the social media. But when I came to the social media was 2017. And I didn't even know what I could make money on that platform at that time. All I knew was that I had something I wanted to just give. I knew that people who worked in the kind of place that I worked may not really need my platform. I was trying to reach out to people who didn't come from as privileged education teaching backgrounds as I felt that there was something I could give, and so that's how it started. But it's about a year into it, I realized I could make money. So on the online platform as well, just as a teacher, I made hundreds of thousands, and it's not like I even put in my 100 into it. I just realized that, okay, I could sell a course. I still wanted to impact. So that at that time I had partnered with David, teachers are always asking us this question. Okay, let's do a course, let's teach them. And people registered and we made money. We're just teachers in the classroom. So I was still doing my teaching job. I'm making a lot of money at this side. So as a teacher, you can make money, but you have to really know what it is. I think to make money many times, you always have to come from a place of giving value. If you come from a place of, I want to make money, and there is no strategy to it, you will find out that you won't be able to make money. So I dare to say that the education business has a lot of money, but teaching in itself in a school may not pay so well. So you have to know what you want to do to augment, that and make a lot of money.
Thank you very much. I just needed to squeeze that part out of you because you've just been acting very cool and nice, and you don't want to tell us that part, Shebi. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
So finally, I don't want to take so much of your time. What do you believe is the most rewarding aspect of being a teacher? What is the most rewarding aspect of being a teacher?
Well, the most rewarding aspect for me is being able to impact knowledge. And impacting knowledge means that it's not about me coming to teach, it's about a child's eyes lighting up. Oh, I get it. Oh, and then it now stirs the child to want to to research, to read more. So for me, I can't remember how exactly you put the question, but the most rewarding thing for me as a teacher has been seeing my role as a teacher helping to stir up lifelong learners. So most times my learners take it up from me. I introduce something, and before you know it, the next day they're coming to tell me, oh, I researched further on what you said. I researched. So for me, that is the aim, because children need to understand that it is beyond the teacher. They need to know how to learn and become lifelong learners. And that's one great thing I achieved in that class, that I told you about earlier. So that's been the most rewarding for me.
All right, thank you very much. It was nice having you. Thank you for accepting our invitation. I don't know if you have any final words to give us, just any final words.
Well, for me, I think that you should, as a teacher, you should make sure that it's something you're really interested in. I was a teacher in the classroom, but it got to a time when I was like, no, I don't want to teach children anymore. And I felt, something in me. I wanted to take my knowledge now to teachers. And I could feel my energy in the classroom wasn't as great as it used to be. So as a teacher, you need to know when to move, when to evolve. So for me, I evolved at the exact time I needed to. If I didn't do that, it would have been detrimental. I knew at that point, this is not what I want to do. I still want to be a teacher, but I now want to take it to another level. So it's cuts across to everyone. So it also cuts across to those people who came into the profession and, you've tried it 1 year and 2 years and you feel this is not your thing. Please leave, because, working with children, if you don't have the right energy, if you do not have the right mindset, you would cause more harm than good, because you're working with little people who are vulnerable. Everything you give, they're like sponges. Everything you give is what they take. So know when you need to be at a place and know when you need to move as a teacher. It really help. It helped me, and I feel very fulfilled right now. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very, very much. Really appreciate you. I don't know if anybody has any questions. Any question? Let's quickly take a question so that we can call this a wrap. Any question, please? All right, so no questions for now. Thank you, Idara. We really appreciate your time and all the juices you've given us.
Oh, wow.
Notebook is full.
Oh, wow.
All the juice. So this is me and you. We are going to talk further beyond this discussion that we are having here like this. We're going to talk further, but that one is the camera. So, all right. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining the Millennial Teacher Show. This episode will be replayed on our YouTube channel, Mary the Millennial Teacher. That's the name of the YouTube channel. So you can go there to watch it when it is available. So our guest today, we really appreciate you. Thank you for honoring our invitation, and thank you for giving of yourself. So we'll come to an end today. I would say thank you and bye for now.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.